Welcome back to ZE Coins. If you're into rare coins, coin collecting, or you're just curious about the hidden treasures in your pocket change, then this video is for you. Today, we're diving into the fascinating world of Lincoln Wheat pennies. These little copper coins might look ordinary, but some of them are worth thousands, even millions of dollars in the current market. So stay tuned as we count down the top 6 most valuable Abraham Lincoln Wheat pennies ever discovered and what makes them worth so much money. We're taking a deep dive into one of the most iconic American coins, the 1950 D Lincoln Wheat penny. This humble 1-cent coin could be worth more than you think. If you've ever searched through a jar of old change or inherited a coin collection from a relative, you may want to listen closely. The 1950 D Wheat penny may just be your hidden fortune. Let's begin with the basics. The Lincoln Wheat penny was first minted in 1909 to honor the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. Designed by Victor David Brenner, this coin was the first American currency to feature a real person, and not just any person, but one of the most revered figures in United States history. Lincoln's legacy as the president who ended slavery and preserved the Union during the Civil War made him a natural choice for this historic coin. From 1909 to 1958, the reverse side of the penny featured 2 wheat ears curving inward, a symbol of American agriculture and prosperity. That's why collectors often refer to these coins simply as wheat pennies. Now let's zoom in on the specific year, 1950. This was a time of post-World War II recovery, Cold War tensions, and rapid technological change in the United States. In Denver, the U.S. Mint struck over 334 million 1-cent coins that year. That's right, the 1950 D penny, where D stands for Denver, had a mintage of more than 300 million. So you might be wondering, with so many produced, how could this coin possibly be rare or valuable? The answer lies in condition, error types, and collector demand. While the 1950 D penny was minted in large numbers, most of those coins went into circulation and were heavily used. Finding one in pristine, mint state condition is far less common. Coins that were never circulated, known as uncirculated or mint state coins, are what collectors really look for, and they're willing to pay a premium for them. Even more valuable are the coins that were struck with errors, off-center strikes, double dies, or repunched mint marks. Let's talk about value. A typical 1950 D penny in average circulated condition is worth just a few cents, maybe 2 or 3. But if you find one in extremely fine condition, the value jumps to about $1 or more. Now, if you're lucky enough to own a mint state example graded MS60 or higher, you could be looking at a value of $10 to $20, depending on the market. But that's just the beginning. Here's where things get exciting. A 1950 D penny graded MS65 red by PCGS or NGC, which are professional grading companies, can sell for over $100. That's because a red designation means the coin still has its original copper color, almost as fresh as the day it was minted. Most pennies turn brown over time due to oxidation, so finding a red coin from 1950 is like discovering a time capsule. Now, let's go even higher. Some of the top-graded 1950 D pennies, in MS67 red or higher, have sold at auction for more than $1,000. Yes, you heard that right. $1,000 for a 1-cent coin. In fact, one of the highest auction records for a 1950 D wheat penny is nearly $2,000. So before you toss that old penny aside, you might want to take a second look. Let's also mention a few error varieties. One of the most well-known is the repunched mint mark, often abbreviated as RPM. This happens when the D mint mark was punched into the die more than once at slightly different angles. Some RPM examples for the 1950 D penny are highly sought after by collectors. Depending on the severity and clarity of the error, these can be worth anywhere from $50 to several hundred. Another thing to watch out for is die cracks or cuds, where part of the design is missing due to a damaged die. These can make a coin unique and collectible. Of course, condition is still king. An error coin that's well worn will always be worth less than a sharp, uncirculated example. Now let's talk about the current market. As of this year, demand for classic U.S. coins remains strong, especially among collectors focused on completing Lincoln cent collections. The Wheat Penny series is one of the most popular among coin collectors, and the 1950 D plays an important role. Collectors often look for coins from each mint for each year, And Denver coins are especially popular due to their quality and sometimes limited availability in high grade. Online auction platforms, coin shows, and dealers report consistent interest in high-grade 1950D wheat pennies. Coin dealers are willing to pay a premium for coins with strong eye appeal, sharp strikes, and red coloration. Even coin roll hunters, people who go through rolls of pennies from banks, still occasionally report finding wheat pennies, though finding a gem 1950D in circulation is incredibly rare today. So what should you do if you think you found a valuable 1950D wheat penny? First, examine it closely. Look for a sharp date, a strong D mint mark, and minimal wear. If the coin looks bright and copper red, that's a good sign. Use a magnifying glass to check for doubling or repunched mint marks. If you believe you have something special, consider sending it to a grading service for authentication and grading. Professional grading can significantly increase the resale value of a coin and give buyers confidence in what they're purchasing. And remember, the story behind the coin is just as important as its value. Every 1950 D penny is a piece of history, a reminder of a time when the average American could buy a soda for a nickel and a gallon of gas for 20 cents. It connects us to the past, to Lincoln's legacy, and to the simple beauty of coin design. So whether you're a seasoned collector or just getting started, the 1950 D Lincoln wheat penny is a coin worth knowing. Its value ranges from pocket change to potential treasure, and its story is pure Americana. We explore the stories behind coins that could be worth a small fortune. Today, we are diving into the fascinating world of the 1945 Lincoln wheat penny. You might think a penny is just 1 cent, but some of these can fetch hundreds or even thousands of dollars depending on the condition and rarity. So let's explore the rich history and the true market value of the 1945 wheat penny and why collectors are scrambling to find the rarest examples out there. First, let's start with a little background. The Lincoln wheat penny was first introduced in the year 1909 to celebrate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. It was the first time a real person was featured on a circulating American coin. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the obverse of the coin features a right-facing portrait of President Abraham Lincoln. The reverse shows 2 wheat ears, symbolizing prosperity and strength, which gave the coin its nickname, the wheat penny. The 1945 Lincoln wheat penny was struck in the final months of World War II. It came after a turbulent time in the U.S. Mint's history. Just a couple of years before, in 1943, the Mint had switched to steel cents to save copper for the war effort. By 1944, they returned to copper-based planchets but used recycled shell casings. By 1945, the Mint resumed regular copper-zinc coin production for pennies. This makes the 1945 penny a piece of history not only for coin collectors but also for those who appreciate artifacts from the wartime era. Now let's talk about where these coins were made. There are 3 versions of the 1945 Lincoln wheat penny. One with no mint mark, which was made in Philadelphia. One with a D mint mark, struck in Denver. And one with an S mint mark, struck in San Francisco. All 3 are common, but certain conditions and errors can make them extremely valuable. In terms of mintage, the Philadelphia Mint produced over 1 billion of these pennies, specifically over 1,040 billion. Denver produced over 267 million, and San Francisco produced over 181 million. This means that the 1945 penny is not rare in general, but condition and error varieties make all the difference. So what should you look for in a 1945 wheat penny to determine if it is worth a lot of money? First and foremost is condition. Coin collectors use a grading scale called the Sheldon scale, which ranges from 1 to 70. A coin graded 1 is barely recognizable. A 70 means the coin is perfect with no flaws even under magnification. Most coins found in circulation grade anywhere from very good to extremely fine. But those in mint state, especially grades MS65 and above, can bring in significant value. Let's break down the numbers. A circulated 1945 penny with no mint mark in average condition is typically worth around 5 to 15 cents. Not much, right? But a coin in better condition, let's say extremely fine, can be worth up to 50 cents or $1. If you find one in mint state with no visible wear and sharp detail, now we are talking. These can sell for $5, $10, or even more depending on color and luster. Color matters too. Copper coins change color over time. When a penny is first struck, it has a bright red shine. Over time, it can turn brown or red-brown. Collectors prefer full red coins and will pay a premium for them. A full red 1945 penny in mint state 67 can be worth hundreds of dollars. Now let's talk about error coins. This is where the serious value comes in. Some 1945 pennies have off-center strikes, double dies, or clipped planchets. These errors can be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. For example, a 1945 D penny with a strong double die obverse has sold for over $1,000 in high grade. Another example is a 1945 S penny with a repunched mint mark, which is highly sought after by collectors. Let's talk about some of the record-breaking sales. In recent auctions, 1945 Lincoln wheat pennies in mint state 67 red have sold for as high as $4,500. Yes, you heard that right. A 1-cent coin selling for over $4,000. And these were not error coins, just pristine examples with incredible eye appeal. So where should you go if you think you have a valuable 1945 wheat penny? First, look carefully at the details under a magnifying glass. If your coin has no wear, still has its original red shine, and features any unusual markings, it could be a gem. You might want to send it to a professional grading company like PCGS or NGC to get it certified. Certification adds value and trust for buyers if you choose to sell it. Once graded, you can sell your coin on platforms like eBay, Heritage Auctions, or through a local coin dealer. Be careful though, always research similar sales to make sure you're not underselling your piece. Compare your coin's condition, mint mark, and color to similar listings. And avoid cleaning the coin. That can destroy its value instantly. So to wrap things up, the 1945 Lincoln wheat penny is more than just an old coin. It is a piece of American history with ties to World War II and the legacy of Abraham Lincoln. While most are common and worth just a few cents, the right coin in mint condition or with a rare error can be worth hundreds or thousands of dollars today. Check your coin jars. You never know, you might be holding a tiny treasure in the palm of your hand. We are diving deep into the world of one of the most iconic coins in American numismatic history. That's right, we're talking about the 1951 Lincoln wheat penny. This isn't just any coin. It's a coin with rich history, beautiful design, and in some cases, surprising value. Whether you're a seasoned collector or someone who just found this little copper piece in your pocket change, this video is going to walk you through the story behind the coin, its potential worth today, and why it might just be worth more than you think. So stick around to the end because you don't want to miss what makes this small penny possibly a big payday. Let's start with the basics. The 1951 Lincoln wheat penny is part of the legendary Lincoln Cent series that began all the way back in 1909. That year marked the centennial of Abraham Lincoln's birth, and it was the first time a real person appeared on a U.S. coin. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the Lincoln Cent quickly became one of the most popular and widely circulated coins in American history. From 1909 to 1958, the reverse of the coin featured 2 stalks of wheat, giving it the nickname wheat penny. Now, specifically in the year 1951, there were 3 main variations of this penny minted. The first is the 1951 plain, minted in Philadelphia. The second is the 1951 D, minted in Denver. And the third is the 1951 S, minted in San Francisco. Each of these versions comes with its own mintage numbers and potential value points. Let's break those down. The Philadelphia Mint produced over 284 million of the 1951 wheat pennies. That's a huge number, and as a result, most of the 1951 plain pennies are quite common. You'll typically find circulated examples worth anywhere from 2 cents to about 20 cents depending on condition. Uncirculated examples in mint state condition can fetch between $1 and $15. Especially if they have a red luster. The 1951 D penny, minted in Denver, saw an even larger production run, over 625 million coins. Again, because of the high mintage, circulated versions are pretty common and usually don't go for more than a few cents. But once again, uncirculated versions with strong details and brilliant luster can be worth significantly more. Some mint state red examples can sell for $20 or even more depending on grade. Now, the 1951 S from San Francisco had the lowest mintage of the 3, with about 136 million coins made. While still not considered rare, the 1951 S does hold slightly more value than the other 2 in higher grades. Circulated versions are generally valued around 5 to 20 cents, while uncirculated examples can go up to $25 or higher, especially if graded by a service like PCGS or NGCS. What makes one of these coins worth a lot of money? It all comes down to condition, rarity, and in some cases, error varieties. Coins that are in mint state condition with no wear and strong original red color are the most valuable. The top-tier examples graded MS 67 or higher with full red color can sell for hundreds of dollars at auction. That's right, hundreds for a single penny. Let's talk errors. Error coins from the 1951 penny series can be worth a lot more than the standard coins. Some known errors include double dies, off-center strikes, clipped planchets, and repunched mint marks. A 1951D with a clear double die on the obverse or reverse could bring in anywhere from $50 to several $100 depending on how dramatic and well-preserved the error is. Another important factor that increases value is whether the coin has been professionally graded. Coins graded by companies like PCGS or NGC are trusted by collectors and investors alike. A certified 1951 wheat penny in mint state 67 red, for example, can bring in over $200 at auction, especially if it has eye appeal and strong strike quality. Now let's talk market trends. In the last 5 years, the value of high-grade Lincoln wheat pennies has seen a noticeable uptick. Collectors are increasingly seeking well-preserved examples to add to their collections, and that's especially true for the pre-1959 wheat cent series. While 1951 is not considered a rare year overall, its higher grade and error examples are drawing more attention and selling for higher prices than ever before. So what should you do if you think you have a 1951 wheat penny? First, examine it closely. Check for wear and tear. Does it still have a shine? Look at the date and mint mark. Use a magnifying glass to check for doubling or unusual features. If the coin looks promising, you may want to get it graded by a professional service. Even if it's not a rare error, a coin in pristine condition can still fetch a strong price online or at a coin show. You can also compare your coin to online marketplaces like eBay or auction sites. Look for completed listings to see what similar coins have sold for. Avoid looking only at listing prices because sellers can ask for any amount. It's the sold prices that give you the real story. You'll often see high-grade examples going for between $50 and $200, especially if they're certified and in high demand. To wrap it all up, the 1951 Lincoln wheat penny may seem like a common coin, and in many cases it is, but don't be too quick to dismiss it. With the right combination of condition, rarity, and error variety, this little piece of copper can be worth far more than its face value. Whether you're a collector, an investor, or just someone who found an old penny in a jar, take a moment to give it a closer look. You might just have a small treasure in your hands. We're diving deep into one of the most fascinating and still surprisingly valuable coins in American numismatic history, the 1953 Lincoln wheat penny. Now you might think of a penny as just a single cent lying forgotten in an old jar or buried in the cushions of your sofa, but some of these old copper coins are worth a whole lot more than you think. The 1953 Lincoln wheat penny, also called the Lincoln cent or wheat back penny, was minted during a very interesting time in American history. We're talking about post-World War II America, a nation rebounding, economically growing rapidly, and shifting into a new era of prosperity. Yet coins like this one from 1953 still carry the echoes of earlier decades, especially the Great Depression and the wartime metal shortages that affected how our coins were made. So let's go back to the beginning. The Lincoln cent was first introduced in 1909 to commemorate the 100th birthday of Abraham Lincoln. It was the first U.S. coin to feature a real person, and Lincoln was chosen for obvious reasons, a symbol of unity, strength, and leadership. He was a natural choice and Americans embraced the coin quickly. Now, the reverse design of this coin, known as the wheat penny, featured 2 wheat stalks surrounding the words 1 cent and United States of America. It remained in use until 1958 before the design was changed to the Lincoln Memorial in 1959. That makes the 1953 wheat penny part of the last few years of the classic design that collectors still love today. So, how many 1953 wheat pennies were made? Well, in total more than 700 million of these pennies rolled out of U.S. mints. There were 3 versions minted that year: one from Philadelphia, one from Denver, and one from San Francisco. The Philadelphia mint did not use a mint mark, while Denver pennies have a small d and San Francisco pennies have an S under the date. Now let's talk value, because that's probably why you're here, right? Is this old penny in your collection worth big money? The answer is yes. It Absolutely can be, but it depends on a few key factors. First, condition matters more than you might think. The higher the grade of the coin, the more it's worth. For example, a regular circulated 1953 penny might be worth just a few cents, maybe up to 25 or 50 cents to a collector, but if you find a 1953 wheat penny in uncirculated or mint state condition, that's where things start to get exciting. These coins can fetch anywhere from $5 to $20 for common mint state examples, but high grade coins with minimal wear, rich red luster, and strong strike can command prices of $50 to even a few $100s, especially if professionally graded by a company like PCGS or NGC. Now, let's dig a little deeper. There are some rare varieties and errors that push the value way up. A 1953 penny with a double die error, for example, can be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars depending on the strength and clarity of the doubling. There are also off-center strikes, clipped planchets, and repunched mint marks. These minting errors happen rarely, but when they do, they create unique coins that collectors pay a premium to own. One example sold at auction for over $1,500, and it was simply a well-preserved high-grade 1953s wheat penny in red mint state 67. That's not a typical penny, that's a coin that sat in a collection untouched for decades, preserved with care. But let me pause here and explain how you can figure out if your penny is valuable. First, look at the condition. Is the detail on Lincoln's face clear? Can you see the lines in the wheat stalks on the reverse? Does the coin still have its original red or reddish-brown color? Next, check for any mint mark under the date. AD means it came from Denver, and an S means San Francisco. Then look for any unusual features like doubling, strange marks, or misaligned elements. And if you think you've found something special, get it graded. A certified grade from a respected service can dramatically increase the resale value of your coin and make it more attractive to buyers. Now, in today's market, coin collecting is booming again. Prices for rare coins have surged in recent years due to both investor interest and historical appreciation. The 1953 penny might not be ultra rare, but in the right condition or with the right error, it becomes something far more valuable than a cent. It becomes a piece of American history. Collectors today are especially interested in coins that are over 70 years old and still look pristine. That's why people are paying big money at auctions and online marketplaces. So if you're sitting on a jar of old pennies or inherited a coin collection from a grandparent, now is a great time to look through those coins carefully. Before we wrap up, here's a quick breakdown of current estimated values. As of this year, a well-circulated 1953 penny is worth about 5 to 10 cents. A nicer example in very fine condition might go for 50 cents to $1. A mint state red example graded MS65 can bring in $25 to $60 depending on the mint. A red MS67 example with sharp details can sell for over $200. Rare errors or varieties can push past the thousands, so that 1 cent piece in your hand could be worth a weekend dinner, or it could be worth a few car payments. It all depends on the details. In conclusion, the 1953 Lincoln wheat penny is more than just a coin, it's a living artifact from a past era of American history, a tribute to Abraham Lincoln, a part of everyday life that now lives in collections, vaults, and auction blocks all around the world, and who knows, maybe the next valuable penny is already sitting right in your pocket. We uncover the fascinating stories behind rare and valuable coins you might just have lying around in your change jar. Today, we're diving into the story of the 1954 Lincoln wheat penny, a coin that's older than many of our parents but still holds value today, not just face value either. We're talking real collector demand and surprising worth in today's market. So grab your coin collection or your coffee and settle in as we explore everything you need to know about the 1954 wheat penny, the history, how it was made, what makes it special, and most importantly, what it's worth in today's coin market. Let's begin with a little background on the coin itself. The Lincoln Wheat Penny series started in 1909 to celebrate the 100th birthday of Abraham Lincoln. It was the first time in American history that a real person appeared on circulating U.S. coinage. Before that, coins usually featured symbols like liberty or eagles, but not actual people. President Theodore Roosevelt wanted coins that reflected the spirit of the nation, and who better than Abraham Lincoln to symbolize that? The wheat penny design was created by sculptor Victor David Brenner. The obverse, or front of the coin, features a portrait of Lincoln facing right. His name is not on the coin, but his profile is instantly recognizable. Above his head are the words "In God We Trust." To the left is the word liberty, and to the right the date 1954 in this case, followed by a small letter D right under the year. That D stands for the Denver Mint, where this particular coin was struck. Now let's talk about the reverse side of the coin, which features two wheat stalks curved along the sides, hence the name wheat penny. In the center between the wheat is the denomination 1 cent and the words United States of America. Above that is the Latin motto E pluribus unum, meaning out of many one. In 1954, 3 U.S. mints were actively producing pennies: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The Denver Mint produced a total of over 251 million Lincoln cents that year, making the 1954 one of the more common wheat pennies. However, that doesn't mean it's not valuable, especially when it comes to condition and rarity of high-grade examples. So what makes a 1954 D penny worth more than a cent? Well, the value of any coin comes down to a few key factors: rarity, condition, and demand. Let's break those down. First, rarity. As we said, more than 251 million were made. So it's not rare in total numbers, but certain errors or varieties are rare. For example, some 1954 D pennies have what's known as a repunched mint mark. This happens when the D mint mark was punched more than once onto the coin, creating a shadow or doubling effect. If you have one of these, you might be sitting on a small treasure. Second, condition. This is where things get really interesting in coin collecting. Condition is king. Most 1954 D pennies in circulation today show heavy wear from decades of use, but if you happen to find one in uncirculated condition, also known as mint state, it could be worth a lot more. A mint state coin shows no wear at all and has its original luster, that shiny fresh from the mint look. Now for the numbers. A regular 1954 D wheat penny in well-worn condition is worth about 3 to 5 cents, just a little over face value, but if it's in better condition, say very fine or extremely fine, it could be worth 20 cents to $1. Still not retirement money, but definitely more than its original value. However, here's where things take a turn. If you have a 1954 D Lincoln cent in mint state condition, say MS 63 or better, it could be worth anywhere from $3 to over $15, depending on the market and the quality of the strike. But that's not all. In rare cases, a top-graded MS 66 red example has sold for as much as $400 to $500 at auction. Why? Because collectors want the best of the best, and since copper is reactive and prone to toning or dulling over time, truly red pristine examples are hard to find. Now let's talk about errors and varieties briefly. There are known examples of 1954 D pennies with die breaks, cuts, and even double dies. These errors can dramatically increase the value. For example, a dramatic repunched D mint mark can bring $50 to $100 or more, and if you find a major doubling on the date or lettering, you might have a coin worth several hundreds. So how can you tell if your 1954 D penny is valuable? Start by checking the condition. Is it worn flat or does it have sharp details? Next, look at the color. Red-brown or full red is the most desirable. Then examine it under a magnifier for any unusual features: doubling, cracks, off-center strikes, or odd shapes in the mint mark. And don't forget to weigh it. A standard wheat penny should weigh 3.11 grams. If it's significantly more or less, you may have a planchet error, which is when the coin was struck on the wrong type of blank. Those are extremely rare and very valuable. Now let's talk market trends and current values. As of 2025, the market for Lincoln wheat pennies remains strong. There's a steady demand from collectors, especially for high-grade coins and certified examples. If your 1954 D penny is graded by a professional service like PCGS or NGC, that can increase its value significantly. At the moment, an MS 65 red 1954 D penny sells for about $50 to $80 depending on eye appeal, and the auction at MS 66 red expect to see prices in the $300 to $400 range, and of course errors and varieties can go higher. So to wrap it all up, the 1954 D Lincoln wheat penny might not look like much at first glance, but this humble 1-cent coin carries a rich history dating back to the legacy of Abraham Lincoln. It represents a part of America's past and can still be worth real money today. Whether you're a new collector or someone who's inherited a jar of old coins, it's always worth taking a closer look. You never know, you might have a tiny treasure hiding in plain sight. Thanks for watching. If you found this video helpful or interesting, don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring that notification bell for more videos on rare coins, their stories, and their values, and drop a comment below if you've ever found a 1954 D wheat penny or want help identifying a rare coin. We'd love to hear from you. We are diving deep into the fascinating story behind one of the most iconic and widely collected coins in American history, the 1957 Lincoln wheat penny. This humble little 1-cent coin holds not only historical significance but also hidden value that might surprise you, especially if you have one in great condition or with unique minting errors. So grab your magnifying glass and your coin book and let us unravel the story of the 1957 wheat penny and how it could be worth a lot of money today. First, let us go back to where it all began. The Lincoln wheat penny series was first introduced in 1909 to commemorate the 100th birthday of President Abraham Lincoln. It marked the very first time a real person was featured on regular circulating United States coinage. The obverse of the coin features the portrait of President Lincoln based on a sculpture by Victor David Brenner, and the reverse of the coin features two stylized wheat stalks encircling the words 1 cent and United States of America. This iconic reverse design gave the coin its popular nickname, the wheat penny. Fast forward to 1957, and we see the penultimate year of the wheat penny design. The coin was minted in two major locations, the Philadelphia Mint and the Denver Mint. The Philadelphia Mint coins have no mint mark, while those struck in Denver carry the small letter D just below the date. 1957 was a year of high production, and in total more than 1 billion 1957 Lincoln wheat pennies were minted, making it one of the most common wheat pennies still found in circulation today, but as with many coins, the real value comes down to condition, rarity, and special errors. Now, let us talk about what makes a 1957 wheat penny valuable. You see, while most circulated 1957 pennies are only worth a few cents above face value, those in uncirculated or mint state condition can be worth significantly more. For example, a 1957 penny in mint state 65 condition can fetch anywhere from $1 to $5 at auction, while especially pristine examples with perfect luster, strong strike, and clean surfaces may sell for $20 or more. Rare certified examples graded MS67 or higher by professional coin grading services have sold for over $100 in some cases. But the real treasure lies in the error coins and varieties found in this year. There are several known errors, and they are highly sought after by collectors. One of the most popular is the double die obverse error, where parts of the design, including the date and the lettering, appear doubled due to a misalignment during the minting process. If you have a 1957 penny with obvious doubling, especially on the words "In God We Trust" or "Liberty," you may have something worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Other valuable errors include off-center strikes, clipped planchets, repunched mint marks, and die cracks. Each of these errors makes the coin unique and increases its numismatic value depending on severity and clarity. For instance, a 1957 D penny with a dramatic off-center strike showing 50% of the design missing could easily sell for over $100, and a repunched mint mark where the D was stamped more than once in different positions can also command high premiums, especially in high grades. So what should you do if you have a 1957 penny? First, examine the coin carefully under good lighting. Look for any signs of doubling, odd shapes in the mint mark, strange cuts, or missing parts of the rim. If it looks like something unusual, consider having the coin evaluated by a reputable dealer or grading service. Remember, even common-looking coins might be worth more than you think. Now, let us talk a bit about current market trends. As of this year, collectors are showing increased interest in Lincoln wheat pennies as older coins become harder to find in the wild. The nostalgia of the wheat design, coupled with the potential for hidden gems among these pennies, keeps demand strong for those interested in coin roll hunting. The 1957 penny is a common find, but finding one in superb condition or with a known error still brings excitement and possible profit. And what about proof coins? You might be wondering if there were any special issues of the 1957 wheat penny. Well, proof coins were only minted in Philadelphia and feature sharper details and a mirror-like finish, while the 1957 wheat penny was not struck as a proof in the way modern proofs are. Today, some extremely well-preserved coins look like proofs due to early die strikes. These coins often get mistaken for proofs and can be highly valuable if graded as such. In conclusion, the 1957 Lincoln wheat penny is more than just an old coin. It represents a connection to American history, the final years of a beloved coin design, and a doorway into the world of coin collecting. While most examples are worth just a little over face value, there are exceptions that could be worth hundreds or even thousands. Whether through error, rarity, or condition, the value of this coin is always in the details. So check your pocket change, your coin jars, and your grandparents' collections. Who knows what you might discover? Thank you for watching. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into coin history and value, please hit that like button and subscribe for more videos on rare coins, numismatic tips, and collectible treasures. Every coin has a story, and we are here to tell it. Until next time, happy collecting.